Okay, so we're going to solve y squared plus 53 equals 4y. Now in the instructions, they say solve by completing the square. You actually can solve this problem any way you want to, but for the sake of compliance with the directions, I'm just going to use completing the square. So when you complete the square, the first thing you want to do is you want to get all of your variables on one side. So that means I'm going to subtract 4y to put my y's all together. So I'm going to get y squared minus 4y plus 53 equals 0. And then I'm going to move anything that's not a variable to the other side. So that's going to leave me with y squared minus 4y, give yourself a little space, equals negative 53. Now, completing the square means you take the coefficient in front of the variable that is raised to the first power, so in this case the negative 4, and what you do is you divide by 2, and then you square it with your result. So what that means is I'm going to take negative 4, I'm going to divide by 2, and then I'm going to square it, and I'm going to do this to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to erase this now to give myself a little space so it's not so cluttered. But there you have it. Okay, so what does that give me? That gives me y squared minus 4y plus, now remember, when you square something it becomes positive no matter what, so I can leave this plus and I'm okay. Negative 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 squared is 4. On this side it's going to be the same thing, so it's going to be 4. So now I'm going to clean it up. So what happens here? Well, what's going to end up happening, and this is always what's going to end up happening, is that this becomes some quantity squared. So what is this quantity squared that it becomes? It's this number divided by 2. So if negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2 squared, and here I'm just going to simplify. So this is negative 49. Okay, so again, all I did was I factored all of this to become this. And if you don't believe me, you can FOIL y minus 2 squared out, and you'll see it'll become all of this. So, what do we do from here? Well, from here, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So this becomes y minus 2. And on the other side, I'm going to get, now remember the square root of 49 is 7, but because it's negative, the square root of negative becomes I. And then we also have to remember that it's plus or minus. So I have y minus 2 plus or minus 7i. And then from here, all I have to do to finish the problem off is put the 2 on the other side. So how do we do that? Well, all we got to do now is add 2 to both sides, and you get y equals 2 plus or minus 7i. Or if you prefer, you can write them separately. That would be 2 plus 7i and 2 minus 7i. And there you have it. So pretty straightforward. The goal again is you always get, first move is you want to get y by itself. Okay, so you want to get all your y's on one side, and that's what we did over here. Once we have our y's and our y's on one side and our numbers on the other, you do this process called completing the square, which is just means that we divide this coefficient by 2 and then square it, and that will eventually become y minus 2 squared, and then you use the square root property to finish the problem off, and we get our result. You can write your result in either way. Both of these are correct. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, and I'll see you in the next video.